Welcome back for Mailbag number 8. I'm John, an adventure writer at dumbestdnd.com, and today our question comes from two folks, Bruno Jansen 18 and Junior McGeehan, who asked about Lair actions and legendary actions. TLDR, Lair actions are reserved for higher CR monsters, but give enemy creatures a chance to use the environment against the party, while legendary actions give enhanced ability to the enemy itself in combat. Both can be deadly and both enhance the abilities of one creature, making them more interesting than just a standard meat bag for the party to beat up on. If you're looking to ratchet up your next encounter, these actions could be a great addition. Great example is dragons, as they have the most prevalent lair actions, regional effects, and legendary actions. First, some quick level setting for the new DMs or players out there. A lair action is essentially the location you are in, taking part in the fight at the behest of the core enemy. Or a home field advantage, in other words. The Lair automatically gets an initiative of 20 when sorting the order, and can take on various effects like allowing Strahd to travel through the walls as long as he's within his castle, or a green dragon to call forth grasping roots and vines to restrain players. Important to note that most Lair actions have distance boundaries, explicit or otherwise. One Lair action for an aboleth, for example, pools of water within 90 feet of the aboleth surge outward in a grasping tide. Any creature on the ground within 20 feet of such a pool must succeed on a DC 14 strength saving throw, or be pulled up to 20 feet into the water and knocked prone. In short, it's the enemy being able to leverage its base or environment against the party, and can be pretty powerful. Think of it as mini natural disasters because of the baddie in the cave. There's even a further extension of lair actions called regional effects. Regional effects can be thought of as atmospheric effects and are largely setting the scene as you get closer to the monster. The ancient Deep Crow, for example, I had no idea that was a monster, has this in their stat block. The region containing an ancient Deep Crow's lair is transformed by the creature's presence, which creates one or more of the following effects. Supernatural shadows turns all bright light to dim light in underground regions within 6 miles of the lair. Intermittent, echoing calls can be heard coming from all directions within 6 miles of the lair. Subterranean beasts within 1 mile of the ancient Deep Crow's lair serve as the creature's eyes and ears, alerting it to the presence of intruders and making it all but impossible to surprise the ancient Deep Crow. If the ancient Deep Crow dies, these effects fade immediately. The key difference between regional effects and lair actions is that a lair action is active, joins initiative, and is controllable by the enemy, while regional effects are more passive effects within a range of the enemy. These effects can be thought of as the evil or aura of the enemy's presence affecting the landscape and infecting a specific range around them to the tune of miles instead of feet. In many cases, like with Elder Brains, the monsters have lair actions, regional effects, and legendary actions. Talk about an action economy boost. The beauty of most lair actions is that they have broad effects and don't discriminate about what creatures they are attacking. Now currently there are over 140 characters and monsters across all official modules that have regional effects or lair actions. So I'm not going to get into all of those, but I will go through a few of my favorites. I haven't had the chance to explore all of them, since it's a long list, but a few that I found fun. From a deadliness perspective, a Lich is toward the top with their lair action to call forth the spirits of anyone that died in their lair and deal 15d6 necrotic damage to one target. The Androsphinx lair action to alter time, forcing any creature in the lair to pass a DC 15 con save or become 1d20 years older or younger. It's insane. Then the classic Red Dragon's Lair for creating a lava geyser to deal fire damage. Even though it doesn't make the floor lava, it gets close. And then you have Orcus and his undead servants. Orcus causes up to 6 corpses within the lair to rise up into skeletons, zombies, or ghouls. These undead obey his telepathic commands, which can reach anywhere in the lair. There are way too many lair actions to cover in just one video, so let me know some of your favorites in the comments below. With lair actions and regional effects well defined, let's take a look at legendary actions. Unlike lair actions where they exist in initiative order, legendary actions can be taken at any time throughout a round, typically after a PC has finished their turn or in reaction to a PC action. The first time you encounter a legendary action as a player, you're likely going to be angry or confused or a mix of both, because the action is taken out of turn. Say a Tarask has initiative order 15, but uses a claw attack after the first PC finishes their turn, you might cry foul, but them's the rules. Tarrasque legendary actions are pretty boring, but a good reminder that the extra actions aren't necessarily sexy, they're just extra actions. In some cases, they're great. Most creatures with legendary actions get 3 actions they can use, though Mummy Lords have 5 legendary actions and Exithanter have 4 legendary actions, so numbers may vary. Important too, some of the actions will cost 2 or 3 actions. The book or module is explicit about this in stat block, so you won't have to guess. Here's a tangible example with a Solar, a large celestial CR21 creature. For 1 action, it can teleport. For 2 actions, it can use Searing Burst, or if it wants to burn all legendary actions for that round in one go, it can use Blinding Gaze, which costs 3 actions. The action pool resets at the start of the creature's turn. Pretty straightforward, but the first time you experience it, it can be a bit confusing. Just remember, there are only so many legendary action points available per round, and they reset on the creature's turn. A word of caution, though. Your DM could always add additional legendary action points to the creature if they wanted, so don't be memorizing every legendary action and cost. There's too many anyway. It's also important to note that the legendary action effects typically scale with the CR of the creature, so lower CR will have lesser legendary actions, while higher CR will typically have higher damage dealing legendary actions, like Tiamat, who could use Red Dragon Head Fire Breath for 2 actions to deal 26d6 fire damage. I can smell the crispy eyebrows already. The lowest CR creature with legendary actions is the Fleecemane Lion from Mythic Odysseys of Theros. CR3 with 2 legendary actions of Claw or Roar. Other low CR creatures with legendary actions are Fate Hags from the Book of Many Things, Thousand Teeth and Maw of Sokola from Ghosts of Saltmarsh, or Resmir from Tyranny of Dragons. Now here are a few of my favorite legendary actions that I've come across so far. Gotta go with Unicorn. At the top of the list, Shimmering Shield. Costs 2 actions. The Unicorn creates a shimmering magical field around itself or another creature it can see within 60 feet of it. The target gains a +2 bonus to AC until the end of the Unicorn's next turn. The idea of a Unicorn using a glittery shield to buff itself? It's pretty amusing to me. Beholders and Death Tyrants. Any of the eye rays that have access to? Pretty brutal mid-fight. Dullahan, Headhunt, which costs 3 actions. The Dullahan moves up to its speed without provoking opportunity attacks and makes 1 battle axe attack with advantage. If the attack hits but is not a critical hit, the attack deals an extra 68 necrotic damage. What other legendary actions would you recommend? Any in particular that are ridiculous or overpowered? Let me know in the comments below. We can't talk about legendary actions and not talk about legendary resistance. One of the more meta concepts in D&D, legendary resistance is pretty straightforward. Legendary resistance gives a creature the benefit of changing the outcome of a saving throw. Most creatures with a legendary resistance are written as, if the Forest Master fails a saving throw, he can choose to succeed instead. There's also typically a X per day limit to legendary resistances, like Ancient Green Dragons, which get 3 per day. The thought is these creatures are powerful enough or have seen enough in their day that they've built up legendary tolerances to specific attack types. They are beyond the physical world and broach the metaphysical, breaking time and space to bend outcomes to their will. Okay, it's not quite that intense, but just know that it feels a little odd. Where it gets more bizarre is that there are very few actions like this throughout the rest of the D&D world from a rules perspective. As DM, if you fail the saving throw, you can just yell, "Legendary Resistance!" and roll succeeds regardless of how poorly you rolled. Auto success on a saving throw whenever you want definitely adds some extra power to your baddies, but the concept is a bit unusual and breaks the general fairness of the game. To me, these creatures have earned their legendary resistances through their renown and legend, so don't hold back. As if legendary actions weren't enough, Wizards of the Coast added mythic actions. We'll use the headless race of undead called Dullahan from Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft as an example. Most mythic actions have some sort of triggering mechanism before they can be used, a common trope seen in video game bosses especially. As the health bar goes lower, their attacks get more intense, varied, or wild. The Dullahan, for example, has to hit 0 hit points, which triggers Headless Summoning, boosting it to 97 HP, summoning 3 Death's Hands, and giving access to the 2 mythic actions it can now use as legendary actions. From Mythic Odysseys of Theros, Mythic traits transform battles into truly legendary confrontations, well suited to the climactic battles of the ends of adventures or whole campaigns. Mythic traits are optional. They don't need to be used during combat with these monsters. If you so choose, you may simply ignore a monster's mythic trait and mythic actions. If you wish to increase a battle stakes, though, using a monster's mythic trait results in some mid-battle twist that changes the way the monster behaves, restores its resources, or provides it with a new action to use. As a result, the battle becomes deadlier and rages on for longer than most combat encounters. Mythic traits are primarily found in Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, and Mythic Odysseys of Theros. It's also very similar to the action-oriented monsters concept. Both apply here. What did I miss? What else should have been highlighted about Lair actions, legendary actions? Let me know in the comments. And thanks again for writing in about these questions. It's a lot of fun to go through and discuss how one might approach these as a new DM or a DM that just hasn't had the chance to run with legendary actions, legendary resistances, or Lair actions. One more example, a Mummy Lord has the following Lair actions. Each undead creature in the Lair can pinpoint the location of each living creature within 120 feet of it until initiative count 20 on the next turn. Each undead in the Lair has advantage on saving throws against effects that turn undead until initiative count 20 on the next round. Until initiative count 20 on the next round, any non-undead creature that tries to cast a spell of 4th level or lower in the Mummy Lord's Lair is racked with pain. The creature can choose another action, but if it tries to cast a spell, it must make a DC 16 Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, it takes 1d6 necrotic damage per level of the spell, and the spell has no effect and is wasted. It also has the following regional effects. A Mummy Lord's temple or tomb is warped in any of the following ways by the creature's dark presence. Food instantly molders, and water instantly evaporates when brought into the lair. Other non-magical drinks are spoiled, wine turning to vinegar, for instance. Divination spells cast within the lair by creatures other than the Mummy Lord have a 25% chance to provide misleading results, as determined by the DM. If a divination spell already has a chance to fail or become unreliable when cast multiple times, that chance increases by 25%. It's a lot of math. A creature that takes treasure from the lair is cursed until the treasure is returned. The cursed target has disadvantage on all saving throws. The curse lasts until removed by a remove curse spell or other magic. Both the lair actions and regional effects enhance the abilities of a Mummy Lord and ratchet up the encounter, making it much more difficult and much more engaging. A lot of different ways that you can use these, so let me know your favorites. Until next time, roll high, stay ridiculous, and thanks for watching.